Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's an Amber thing. I am Amber. I am outside. It's really hot. I have my son and his friend outside playing, so if I'm gonna just really try and speak up so that the kids' laughter and playing doesn't bother anybody. I just love to hear them laugh and play though, so sorry. So I was reviewing some of the comments on some of the other videos, and I saw a comment that I'm going to speak on today, and it was just someone asking me a little bit more about like my awakening, or at what point, what age did I start to wake up, what was like my thing, what was the thing that like kind of just put me over it all. So I was just going to talk about that a little bit, and I think you're going to be surprised with my answer, because it's even kind of shocking to me as I sat and I thought about it. I probably was about 5 or 6 when I really started to be bothered by a couple of things, and those things were drinking. The very first thing was drinking, and the second was violence. At this time, around 5 or 6, my mom was not yet pioneering, and my stepfather was not a ministerial servant yet, but those were the brothers and sisters that they hung out with. They were more the pioneers, the auxiliaries, and the elders and ministerial servants. And so I know, we used to barbecue a lot with a lot of the friends. We'd have them over to the house, we'd go over to their house, and the one thing that I always saw that really bothered me was how much drinking was taking place. Everybody was getting wasted all of the time, and it was bothersome to me because a couple of times that the brothers had gotten, really drunk, they had started to bicker with one another, and then the bickering turned into a more violent scenario on more than one occasion. So for me, as a small child, like, a little girl, it was scary to me. The people who we would look to in the congregation for guidance were the people that I was afraid of, because not afraid of at all times, but afraid, when they would start drinking, what's going to happen next. My stepdad, the person who's my protector, watching these brothers and my stepfather and their drinking, and watching it, like I would take note of when they started and how things would go as the day, or the evening, or the barbecue would progress, and it was always a drunken fiasco. And so that really bothered me at a very, very early age. And my stepfather was at times abusive, and it had a lot to do with his drinking. So that, even at a very, very early age, I remember, I'll never forget this. We were on our way to the meeting, and it was raining really hard. And we had turned, to get onto the street where we were going to be able to get to the Kingdom Hall. And there must have been a puddle or something. I don't know exactly what it was. I was too young at the time to know what had happened. I just knew all of a sudden that we had started, going in circles on the road, and it was so scary to me. But what made this like a non-forgettable type of thing for me was that before we left the house, I had taken note that my stepdad was drunk and that we were still going to meeting. And I was like, I thought to myself, wow, like, how is this okay? How is this okay? How can any of this be okay? We go to a meeting where the elders and the ministerial servants are over drinking when they come to my house. I feel afraid because I don't know if they're going to get into an argument or a fight or something. My dad is over drinking. We get in the car, we spin out, we get to the Kingdom Hall, and my little heart was just racing. And I just remember that. I don't remember the whole meeting, because I just remember thinking to myself, like, I could have died. Like, my dad was drinking, and we're at the meeting, and I could have died. And, it was just very traumatizing for me. I know it probably doesn't sound like it's like a big deal, but it really was at the time. I just felt like so petrified. And so I think that was really when I started to kind of question, some things was, why is it okay to drink? Why is it okay to drink in excess? Why are our elders, our ministerial servants, and my parents doing all this? I don't understand. Like, how is this a safe thing? How is this not bringing reproach on Jehovah's name? How? And, it just was a progressive thing throughout life. It was always drinking going on. There was always lots of gossiping, and I think that was more like a sister's kind of thing, and that was something that really bothered me too. I hated all the gossip. I know, like, when my mom would go, and talk with other sisters, I would always be kind of like paying attention because I didn't want my name being brought up. I didn't want them talking about me. I didn't know what was being said and how it was, what was going on, and I was really young at this age. I mean, like, this is like 7, 8, 9, around there. And I just remember thinking, man, like, how is this okay? This is not cool. Like, if I go to my brother and I say something about something somebody else did, you guys are all over me for, gossiping or spreading rumors or whatever it is, but you guys do it galore. And how is this okay? That, and then some of the violence that took place between my parents. My dad was a screamer, not just a yeller. He was a screamer. And I remember, him drinking and coming home and, just like taking it out on my mom and us, and really not liking that and questioning that. Like, how, is it that now you're a ministerial servant and you're being verbally abusive to our family? How is that not bringing reproach on Jehovah? Things like that. So for me, it started when I was very young and just progressed and progressed and progressed. And when you're brainwashed, like I was, and like, I'm still, like I said before, I'm still fighting that programming. There's so many things that happen on a day-to-day basis that now that I'm more mindful and more spiritual, I like take notice of my actions or my reactions to things that happen in life. And I notice that I still fight that programming a lot. A lot of times I'll have reactions to things that, I'm like questioning myself, like, why did you even react that way? But it's because of the programming that, has been developed in me over the years, in this organization. So, and then later on in life, I have always been I question everything. Like, I want to know the why behind the why. Like, I want to know, like, if you're going to ask something of me, I want to know why you're asking this, how it's going to benefit, like, what gave you the inclination that I should do it this way, why? And so, as many of you know, that is not acceptable whatsoever within the organization. It's like, you are questioning, God. They put it that way so that they guilt you, so that you don't ask questions, because you don't want to be the only one in the congregation that's questioning God, especially not Jehovah God. Like, you can't do that. So, I would start to, I would look at things secularly, not all the time, and I would have a lot of fear in doing it too, which is really sad, but it's true. But I started to see a lot of things with regards to the Illuminati, which were the Freemasons, and their symbolism being in our publications. I questioned a lot how there used to be smoking, and then there was a disfellowshipping thing. I questioned a lot, like, why the doctrine was always changing. Like, how is it that there's always new light? And they just say that all the time, like, there's new light, so now we can change this, and now we can change that, and, everything changes all the time. So, and then the fact that they would say that they were the only ones who were saved, that there were no other of God's creations that were going to receive happiness and everlasting life, that it was only Jehovah's Witnesses. I just was like, how naive of me to even think that were true. I remember they used to say, like, the 3 big surprises, where it'd be that you were there, the person you thought was there wasn't there, and the person you thought wasn't going to be there is there in the new system. And so they always just really kept you on your toes, kept you feeling guilty, kept you feeling like obligated. And I don't know, my brain doesn't allow me to accept those types of things. I don't know why. So yeah, so there's just many things. Do you remember, does anybody remember that there used to be like a purple colored Bible, and it used to fold out? Like the very first page like had like 3 pages, and it folded out, and it had like the pyramid in it. And it had like, I think it was like Aaron, and I want to say the tabernacle. Was it the tabernacle? They're like holding it and taking it into the tent. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna start blanking out. But there was there's just so much Masonic like symbolism in it, and I started, you know, like learning about that Illuminati stuff, and it really started to like make me think, you know. But however much, you know, I would even think about it, I would like put it out of my mind, like this is the true organization, like that's what they say, like we're the only ones that are going to receive, you know, life, we're the only ones going to be in the paradise, we're the only ones, you know. And it's like, on the slim chance that they were right, you know, you want to be there, right? You don't want to be on the outside of all of that. You don't want to be what they would picture to be like such destruction, which also really bothered me a lot too. You know, just the whole, you know, we're the only ones that are going to receive life was just, you know, as I got older, so defining for me in my choice to not be a part of it anymore. Besides the whole, you know, just fellowshipping thing. Because I could have stayed. I could have, you know, I could have got my way back into it, but I chose not to. And it was just, you know, because of that, because there was just so much, there's no way in the world that anybody could make me believe at this point that God, the supreme being, the true creator, would create all of these beings and only allow one religious cult to be saved. It's just, that's not going to happen. You know, that's thinking a whole lot of myself, to think that I'm going to be the only one, and my other peers of, you know, Jehovah's Witnesses, we're going to be the only one that are going to, you know, benefit from Jesus's death, you know. And so, yeah, that's kind of my story. That's kind of what has done it for me. I'd like to hear from, you know, some of you. What was the thing that kind of opened your eyes? Leave it in the comments. I'd like to know. I'll talk to you soon. If you haven't, subscribe, share with somebody who can benefit from the videos, and hit the bell so that you know when I make new ones. I'll see you soon. Bye.